Hey YouTube, you're with Tosh.
And Raker. You're waving.
I
We're
am.
back.
Yep, things are good. So, so we're back in our Space Engineers world today, and what we're going to do is we're just going to bring you up to speed on what's been released in the latest release, which is 0.45.
It is.
And the big thing that came out in this one is a new item called the Arc Refinery, and Raker's just going to build one over here. We've pre-planned a little bit in here, and also just to make sure that it worked and fitted and everything. So he's going to build one in there, and then I'm going to show you some of the work that I've done on my ship, and then we're going to go off, grab some iron, and come back and show you how this works, because this refinery is only for iron.
But it's only two blocks in size, so it's really quite small. It's about 20% or something of the big refinery.
With access denied.
With and the good thing is that Tosh's can't use it.
Yes. Currently.
You need to be a little bit more patient. It always, and it is strange actually. Sometimes I say always, but sometimes it doesn't build things as being owned by me. Okay,
True.
Should be able to get in now.
Thank you.
And I'll actually.
I was just going to show them that 12,000 litres capacity. That was all. So there you go, arc furnace, and it's number 2 because we already put one in there. As I said, to test it all out. So what we're going to do, we're going to.
It just says arc furnace for me.
It says arc furnace number 2 for me.
What?
Yep. So the other thing I'm going to show you is the changes that I made to my little mining ship.
You've beefed it up a bit there.
I double grunted it.
You double grunted it.
I double grunted it. So it's now got some pretty blue colour stuff on it, so that
so that I'll stop hassling you. And a yellow thruster apparently.
Yes, it's just a single one. The downward ones.
Hang on, you mean that's not symmetric? Oh, it is symmetric.
It is symmetrical, of course. It's symmetrical.
I was about to say it's not symmetrical. It's going to be
and what's more,
OCD. Maybe
I've even used the slopey ones as well. Because
I know. I'm so impressed.
Raker was hanging it on me for that as well. So,
although I would say that it actually looks like the whole body bit should lift up a little bit into the middle of the 2 drills. You need that elevated suspension stuff that you get on cars.
Yeah. It's a shame we haven't got thruster damage on.
While you're doing that,
I'm just going to take them up here and show them what we've done up here. Is we had a little bit of a look around to find where's some good mining stuff, and we found this particular hole here.
Particularly uranium. I think.
Yes. So what Raker's done is he's put a little. Well, actually, no, it's not a little.
You know me, I never do things by halves.
Yeah, well, that's certainly true. He's put a big red pole up here so that we can find it very easily. But he's also very cleverly, and I'm going to hop out of my little ship here and show you, he's also very cleverly used a small antenna on a big ship, basically, because as you know, once you place a block, it becomes a ship, by using a landing gear. So he's put the landing gear there, then he's put the antenna on there, and then he's put the nuclear reactor there. So rather than having to build this huge, big, long antenna-y thing, which I'm sure at some point I would have run into, we've just got this little tiny thing here, and all I need to do is turn this on, and now we have the mine entrance. So I think that's pretty clever, Raker.
It is. And by the way, for those of you who haven't done it before, just rename the aerial to mine entrance, and then it shows up on the map as mine entrance.
Yep. So as you can see by what's coming up as I enter in here, we've got pretty much everything, yeah. In this little spot, including quite a nice big chunk of uranium and iron and stuff there. So I'm going to show you how this little baby works. By turning those on.
Okay, well, while you're doing that,
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I might build myself another ship.
Okay.
It's, one drilling ship is great. But I wasn't going to build a drill ship.
Oh.
I actually thought what I might do is I might build myself a constructor ship.
A constructor ship.
Constructor ship, or a deconstructor, depends on.
So what does that do?
Well, you put a welder and a grinder on it, and you run around chopping things up and welding them back together.
That sounds fun.
But particularly the beauty of them is that you put a nice big cargo container on it, and it carries all the stuff for you, so that you don't
have to keep running backwards and forwards.
Running backwards and forwards, going, oh, I need 2 more of them.
Which
seems to be my life at the moment.
Certainly an issue with that at the moment for us, isn't there?
It is. And then I thought after that, I might use that to actually cut your ship up for components.
Oh yeah.
Unless you actually want something else.
No, I don't think we do. I have my wonderful little miner here, my little miner Tosh. Which again was just used, done renaming the antenna that I've put on here.
I like the way you got the name right. I said aerial. You actually said antenna.
Yeah. That's okay. They'll cut us some slack.
You think they'll cut me some slack?
Yeah. Because you're the funny one.
Oh right, there. Apparently I am. Well, at least that was the other game though. I hope I'm the funny one in this one.
Oh yeah, that was true.
I mean, it's possible.
Don't know.
Losing my funniness.
Oh, goodness. You're running out of dad jokes.
Never run out of dad jokes.
Yeah, well, that's true. Endless supply of dad jokes.
I have to run over and get some more displays. See, this is why I need to build a constructor ship. Because
the problem
unfortunately, I have to run over to get the things I need to build the constructor.
I was going to say, you need a constructor ship to build the constructor ship, don't you?
I should have built it closer to the container, obviously. 30 bulletproof glass, right.
Okay, so let's grab a little bit more iron from here and then we'll head back and just show you how this arc refinery works. The other thing I want to show you is well, we're calling it a bug because, to be honest, I really think it is.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, there's a definite problem with the docking, or in particular the locking of the connectors. And I'll show you when we go back down there a way of actually getting around it.
I was about to say, do promise me you won't show them the bug.
No, I won't.
Because it crashes the
Yeah,
game.
it is a fatal error, folks. It will crash out the game entirely. Repeatedly, if you are determined, like me, to actually test things thoroughly. And regardless of whether you're using an old game, a new game, a freshly created world, it'll do it. So I probably only need a little bit more than that to show you how it all works. I'm just doing a little bit of surface stuff, trimming the asteroid a little as I go.
Right. Well, while you're doing that, so discovered some interesting things when I was experimenting with building a construction ship.
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised to see the welder and the grinder, even on a small ship, have these massive cargo doors on the back.
Why is that?
Well, it was rather interesting. So there's a couple of things that I learned the hard way here. So the first one is that you can't connect up the little conveyors to those big massive cargo doors. That just doesn't work.
Yep.
But then when I did actually use some small conveyors, I also discovered that small conveyors just aren't big enough for some things to go through, like steel plates and the big girders. So for that, you need the big ones. So that's obviously, I think, why they've hooked them up with big doors.
Sounds like it.
It does, but that gives you some interesting challenges, because when you look at, for example, at the medium cargo container,
Yep.
It's only got 2 big doors.
Yes.
And if you want to hook up a connector as well and get it out through the connector, you need 3.
Ah. Okay.
So you actually end up having to put
I'm seeing the problem here.
Well, it's not an insolvable problem by any means. It just means that what you have to do is actually put a conveyor block in the middle.
Right.
And you know me, I prefer not to actually, waste space in a ship.
Yep.
So, it always feels a little bit pointless and of a waste to have a conveyor block in the middle, but I haven't found a way around that yet.
Mm-hmm. So I think I've got enough here to
demonstrate?
To demonstrate. How are you going down there?
I'm starting to get a skeleton of a ship together. Probably take another run. I'm sure you'll have some other stuff done by the time I've got this built. Takes a little while when I have to go and get all the pieces.
Yep.
Really looking forward to having.
Oh, do we want some gold while I'm here?
Well, you could, yeah, if you like.
Because I don't think we've got much, actually.
No, we don't.
And that's something that, you do need a bit of every now and again, so I'll grab a bit of that while I'm here. The reason that I'm just surface scraping, folks, is because I haven't finished putting all of the thrusters and everything on my ship, or the protection that I want to put on it. I've been doing a bit of studying myself, and I found that by putting tyres on the back of these things, it actually keeps it nice and straight. I can't remember the guy that I actually saw that from, otherwise I'd give him a shout out, but it was actually very clever the way he had put the tyres in 4 directions on the back, so that they actually run along the surface of the tube that you're making, of the hole, the tunnel that you're actually digging.
Right. Okay, well that's a good plan.
Yeah, and
I actually like being able to turn around and stuff, though, I have to say.
Well, that's only because you get lost.
Well, no, it's not actually, because I like on my my test world, I'm getting a huge cavern because I've got uranium and iron together.
Yep.
And it's just really convenient. So rather than just drilling in one little hole, I'm literally hollowing it out.
Yeah, you're doing what I'm doing up here of surface scraping. And that's a good idea. Now, one thing that you can see there, folks, is the mine entrance. The antenna that we turned on before we came in here is now telling me exactly which way it is to get out. So I can just go like that, head up, and look at that, straight out the hole. Most impressive. I do, again, want to mention the fact that this mod, the Galante Skybox mod, I think is really, really good. For those of you who know the game Eve, I spent about 7 years playing in that, and a lot of that was in Galante space. So I do. Oh, there's an errant piece of iron.
Like a floating iron ore?
Yeah, got it. Ah. And the other thing, of course, is our main antenna shows, which we'll actually rename that, so that we can know that's the base.
Oh, you want me to rename it to base for you?
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I can do that.
Platform or something, whatever you like. So, coming back, and we're going to dock up here. And as I said, we're not going to use my methodology of doing it.
No, let's not use your methodology.
No, because that does definitely crash things, for sure. Oh, a little bit close.
But you had better explain to them.
Yeah, I will. As as the game saves, I'll explain it to you. By using the K key, as you would normally do, to then go into the control panel and select your connector, and then press the connect key, it will crash the game out entirely. And as we said, it is a fatal error, and about as fatal as you can get, to be perfectly honest. So normally I would go into here and I would go lock. Don't do that. Alright, whatever you do, don't do that. The workaround, or the method that Raker uses, which he's kindly explained to me, because he couldn't work out why he didn't have the problem.
I kept saying it works for me, and Tosh was going, no, it doesn't work.
Well, you knew it didn't work.
I knew you were successfully crashing the game. I just didn't know how.
Yeah, you kicked out every time I did it. So, what you do is you put on your toolbar the connector and select switch lock. Okay, and then you can see there we've got the yellow. I hit the 2 key and we're now locked. And that will now start automatically removing all of my stuff from my medium cargo hold there. So, I wonder if I can put that in there. No, I can't. Oh, dear. Ship fuel critical. That's not a good
your
thing.
ship?
Yes.
Well, that's not good.
No. So, a bit of a wiggle. We'll just realign that so that I can tell which way I'm going.
Uranium. Oh, we got 85.
Yeah, we got plenty of uranium, and I've just dropped some more in there as well. So,
right.
It looks like a nice, neat little ship there, mate.
It's coming together quite well, actually.
Yeah.
I have to say. It's nicely blue and yellow
as is everything that we've done.
No. I have some red sometimes.
There are other colours.
There are other colours I've used, exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So the other thing I wanted to show you was over here that this is now. Let's just pop that in there. This is 10 times fast. So there you can see it's already done the iron that went in there. Let's not put that in the assembler. Let's put it down here in our metal storage area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out of the refinery the iron, and I'm going to pop it into the arc furnace.
Yeah, that was a little bit disappointing that it doesn't go into the arc furnace automatically.
Yeah, it is. It is a little. But I can't put anything else in there. It will not allow me to put any other thing in there. So that's 3k worth of iron that it's done in, next to no time.
It's pretty good about that, isn't it?
It is. Very good, in fact. I'll put that down here in our metal storage area, and I will pop these into our refinery for them to get done. So it's doing. Now there are a few little buggy things happening with the refinery at the moment. It's a bit odd.
I have to say I didn't notice them in the previous release.
No, they certainly weren't there in the previous release.
They don't seem to have been anyway.
No, you can see there it's processing the gold, not the uranium, whereas in the past it's always processed what was in front. So you could actually say, I want platinum, put it in there, and it would process it. But it's not doing that now. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Really weird. Occasionally, I've even had it try to process two at the same time. Yeah.
Well, that's.
And you only know that because you actually see the ores going up, both of the ores going up at the same time, and you go, "That's a bit weird."
Yep. Not sure whether we've told you about how to do that, but a right click a right mouse button and hold and drag over into another thing gives you the option to then select how much you want to split. So I'm not sure whether we have actually mentioned that before or what, but
No, not sure that we have actually.
no. So
I'm hoping
right
that one.
click and right mouse button down and drag, and we can go 10 and split that. So I'll put 10 in there and 10 around the other side.
I'm hoping that one day they'll actually add a button to just cut it in half automatically, because that seems to be something I do a lot.
Yep. Yep. That's oops. That's a good thing if we can do that. I always just like to test and make sure that I haven't actually damaged anything, particularly conveyor belt. That's not called for. Particularly things like the conveyor belts and stuff along there, just to make sure that they haven't been connected or clipped or anything. And also on the back there, the armour plating, just to make sure I haven't done any damage to that. So, what do we got here?
Well, I thought that after the success with putting that mine entrance aerial up there,
yep,
and I built that in situ, which is great.
Yeah,
the
and
problem,
also,
of course,
and
is that it's a small ship with no thrusters, right? So I don't know how the heck we'll ever get it back again. So I thought what we actually need is a tug or a tow truck.
Right.
So that's what I'm building.
Because, you should always have a tow truck in space.
Well, that's why I called it a tug first, you see. So
yes. But
space tug.
That'll confuse people.
And the advantage of that, I'm figuring, is that when I want to cut a ship apart, like yours, for example, I can actually use that to hold your ship in place, so it doesn't float off, which has been known to happen in the past, if you're not careful.
Yes, it has.
Because once you start damaging the thrusters,
yep, or the gyros, or the power supply, or something.
Yeah, it can't keep itself in position.
Correct.
I need more large steel tubes. Right.
So why don't you use your constructor ship to build that?
Well, you see, here's the thing. You have to put down the items first by hand, which is one of the things that annoys me about the constructor ship, I have to say. Because there's no way to actually place the item.
Oh, the blocks?
Yeah. Once you've once you've got it there,
yep,
then you can use the constructor ship to weld it together.
Right.
But you've got to place them first.
Oh, okay.
So I find myself having to hop out of the ship to actually place them, which is why what I thought I'd do is just go around, place all of...
Build it and they will come?
Well, yeah, something a bit like that, really. But you do need to be a little bit careful to make sure that you don't, you leave yourself place to get in. Otherwise, you get to the point where you go, oh, that was a good thing. Pity I can't actually get in to weld it.
To weld it, yeah. Yeah, that's a valid point.
Yeah, that might be a level.
Well, we might pause while you're finishing that off.
Okay.
Because otherwise, the only other thing I could do really would be to go mining, and that's...
Well, and you probably should go mining.
Oh, yeah, I will, but that's... I think that's...
not exactly the most exciting stuff in the world, is it?
No, they've all seen how I mine and everything now, so...
But if you do want to hang around for just a second...
Why is energy critical? I just put 10 in there.
Okay, I don't know. What have you done?
I don't know, but it's telling me rather urgently that I have fuel issues.
You might want to come and fix that, I suspect.
Yeah, but I've just put 10 units in.
Now, there is something I did find with this. I put two gyroscopes on this to try and make sure that it's fairly responsive, but sometimes it can actually get a little bit over-responsive. So I'm just...
Your deconstructor you're talking about?
Yeah. So I'm just winding the gyros back to 50% each so that it doesn't spin round on me.
So there's 16 units of uranium in there. Why do
Maybe
I
one of the reactors isn't connected?
Reactor on? No, they're both there in my terminal, which if they weren't connected wouldn't be there.
So, where are you?
In my ship,
And near here?
on the platform.
Right. So, if you want to look around over here, I'm just in the middle of doing stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So, if you want to look around over here. This is the beauty of welding with the welder of the ship.
Now I'm directly in front of you, so be careful.
Is that it doesn't just weld one thing.
Look at that. It's doing 3 or 4 at once.
Didn't really want the landing gear, but that's okay. We'll pull that out later.
Yep. We have the technology. Cool.
It would probably help if I was level.
Probably. But not definitely.
You need to get around the other side.
Yes, you haven't left yourself very much room at all over here.
Well, no, I actually put it there thinking I was going to have to carry stuff.
Oh, yes. If you can get a couple more thrusters done, I can pick it up and move it for you. Except it'll be owned by you. Oh, oh!
It's only a medicine.
Wasn't the med center you were hitting, it was your own ship. With your grinders. Okay, so important point here to note is you need to leave yourself plenty of room.
You do.
To actually build stuff with it. But I see what you mean about your big cargo stuff at the back there. Just looking at that. So there you go.
And the good thing, of course, about a constructor ship is if you do whack it, you can just clean it up and fix it.
Yep, true.
So, as you can see, I've gone white and green this time, just to be different.
Yep, you have.
Now, did I get everything around the back? That's the question.
Looks like it.
Just spin around. I do.
Yep.
Right. Excellent.
Oh, this is going to drive you insane.
What's that?
Your thrusters aren't level. Your forward-facing thrusters.
I thought I fixed that.
Apparently not.
Well, see, that's the one at the back, too far back. That's why.
Okay.
That's right.
Alright. Well, we might pause. Raker can finish that off. I'll go and grab some more uranium and stuff once I work out why my ship is saying critical power, because I don't understand that at all.
That's a bit strange. My ship isn't.
Well, according to the thing, I've got fuel for 280 days.
Which is very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird indeed.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe because I was doing some fairly intense manoeuvres at the time, maybe it's gone, I haven't got enough power.
Well, that's possible, I suppose.
Because the power was in overload, trying to stop it. Maybe that's the case that we need to look at. Oh,
but it's
silicon.
Oh, just lying around.
Well, not lying around.
Oh,
no,
as in an ore.
Yeah. I just realised we haven't got a lot of that, so I'll grab some while I'm here. And as I say, we might pause. I'll just be grinding away here for a little while to get us some base stuff to work with. Raker can finish his ship, and we'll bring you back in when he's done that.
Okay.
So we'll
see you soon.
Yeah. And we're back, and
indeed,
that tugboat is finished.
It is. We should tell them though about the little weird problem we had.
Yeah.
Very strange. I've built this thing a couple of times in testing earlier and never had a problem. But this particular time, it seemed to, with the landing gears, decide that it wasn't a full ship, and I just couldn't activate any of the thrusters. We actually had to take the landing gear off twice before we could get all the thrusters back online. So there's obviously a weird little bug in there somewhere.
Well, it even said on the left-hand side, no...
After you took them off and put them back on for me,
yep.
Yes, it said there just is no thrusters, there is no dampeners, there is no nothing.
Yep.
So that was a bit weird.
So the theory that we have is, I'm going to go and hop in the ship because we're going to give it a go first off with the dampeners on in the big ship. Now, I personally don't think it's going to move it.
Well, it's interesting because of the fact that it's got big thrusters.
Yeah.
And I've only got little thrusters.
Yep.
Now, can I move it? I can't really move it down is the other part of the problem.
No, you've got to move it to your right. Or do you want me to move out a bit? Just
no,
for
that's all right. Well,
sake.
let me... No, because I can... Well, it probably actually wouldn't hurt just for safety's sake in case I end up, pushing it slightly the wrong direction.
So, there you go. There's some playroom. So, you've only got one connected.
I'm struggling with the problem. That's that way. Always hard. It's easier sometimes to hop back in the ship.
Two yellows.
Two yellows will do. Okay, lock and lock.
Okay, two greens.
Okay, so let's try backwards first just to see what happens.
Which will be straight up.
It would attempt to be, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And is not doing a thing.
Anytime you're ready.
Is not doing a thing.
Okay. Apart from probably putting enormous strain on the...
Another little problem though.
Yeah?
Thrusters aren't firing.
Oh.
Apparently now I have 12 thrusters and one gyroscope.
Right.
The ship is just horribly confused. So when I'm going forward now with a W. And
Right.
it's not doing anything. So let me just actually try that. Thrust forward, override, full power.
They're all on.
Although interestingly, I've got a couple that aren't forward thrusters.
No, your left and your right's also on. One of them.
One on either side.
Yeah.
So there's a slight problem with my config that it doesn't have all the thrusters correct.
Yeah. And
yes. Well, see, there you go. That would be my fault.
Okay.
For programming the thrust list wrong. So, let's try that again.
That's better. That's all your forward thrusters.
Yeah, but this was like before. Remember when we had the problem with it being confused?
Yep.
Even though I had thrusters on, the ship still wasn't moving. And this was not when it was trying to push something.
No. This was just when it was floating away from
This
the
was
dock.
just when it was floating in mid-air. So I'm unconvinced that this is a real test. I'm a bit frustrated. I might actually have to dismantle the ship in order to... Now again, here we go. I'm back in the position now. I'm pressing S. I'm getting nowhere.
And your thrusters aren't firing.
That's right. Sideways, sideways, up, down. Nothing is firing again. So we're back into the same mode
forward.
where it's now confused. Let's, for the sake of interest, let's just try this and see what happens. 3 and 6.
Whoa!
Pistons are working.
They are. And they've broken the connection from your thing, and you're now
Well, they
floating
weren't
away.
locked. Whoa!
Whoops. My bad. I forgot I was in this ship.
And I still don't have control.
So I probably need
You've
to...
just knocked me away.
Yeah, I probably need to come and try and get you, don't I?
Well, again, very strange this is. Don't know why it didn't have this. Unless it's a multiplayer thing. Because in my single player, it was a creative world, I will admit. I wasn't building it the hard way.
Now you're right.
Here we go. Now we're fine again. Very weird.
It is. I might,
And the tug wasn't necessarily designed, by the way, for doing big ships. It was really designed for picking up these little things.
yeah.
And mining ships. It will pick up your mining ship, I'm sure. Probably being another small ship.
More than likely, yeah.
If you wanted big ships, you may well need a big one. But definitely need one that doesn't start getting confused whenever you
That would help.
put the landing gear on. And honestly, don't understand what's happening there.
It's very interesting in the fact that it may be a multiplayer thing, though.
Well, only because I seriously have not had this problem in my testing tonight.
Yeah.
The only other, but even then, I'm fairly sure in my testing I didn't do it either. The only thing I can try doing is not putting them on until I've extended the pistons, so that it's really clear. But it knows. Well, problem is, see, it actually knows that the pistons own the landing gear, because the landing gear comes up in colour. So anything that belongs to a piston comes up in colour.
Yep. Yeah, it comes up in the orange.
Tempted.
Well, that was a bit of a
That was an aborted test, that one.
bit of a failure, that one. Yeah. So we might call it quits there, I think. We'll do a bit more testing and see whether or not this is a multiplayer bug, and if it is, we'll let the guys know. But I think that was sort of all we wanted to show you today. The only other thing I'll just do is empty this out.
Well, the other idea we did have, which we won't show you today, but came up with because we were thinking about a parking bay for our ships.
Yes.
And
correct.
thought what actually the best way to be able to park ships is just hook them up on your connector, because that way.
Yep.
That way they are accessible in the imagery. Yeah, well, but that connector's a little bit out of the way though, Tosh.
Yeah, that
and
one.
I did put a second one up over here.
Yep.
But even that's not really good for just hopping in and hopping out of the ship. So maybe what we'll do is build a parking bay over this side, over to the left of the refineries.
Yep.
But you might need to clear out all that iron for me first, otherwise.
I can do that
easily. So maybe we should say goodbye to them before we get ourselves all happily.
We should. So we'll do a bit of I'll do a bit of clearing out. We'll do a bit of oh, that's really disconcerting. It just came out standing on my head.
Spinning around. Well, yes, definitely. Well, hang on. I think that deserves that.
Yeah, that does deserve one of those. So okay, well we'll do some stuff. We'll have a play and see if we can work out what's going on with the tugboat, and I'll clean out some of the iron over there and maybe make a bit of a, an alcove-y thing in there so that, as I said to Raker before, we can park the ships in there undercover.
From the asteroid strikes.
That would be it.
Because there's no mines, but we might turn on asteroid strikes.
We may indeed. Which would be, I think...
And then maybe next episode I'll actually get round to deconstructing your ship.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Not convinced at this point, but we'll see. Okay.
See.
Well, that'll do us. So it's good night from him.
And it's good night from me.
Good night, all.
Good night.